Assisted suicide is quickly becoming a hot topic of discussion. In previous years, it has been looked down upon, usually with its association to Jack Kevorkian or Dr. Death. Now, with the recent death of Brittany Maynard, a new light has been shed on this issue. It is important to clarify just what assisted suicide is. Assisted suicide occurs when someone helps another person end their own life. This is different than euthanasia, in which another person, a doctor, is killing a patient, not just giving access to drugs or providing advice. The most talked about type of assisted suicide is physician-assisted death, which allows terminally ill patients who are mentally competent to make their own medical care decisions and request a prescription of medication to hasten their deaths. These patients must also be able to self-administer the medication. Assisted suicide is legal in several parts of the world, but it still remains a controversial issue. In 1994, Oregon legalized assisted suicide, becoming the first state to do so. The law is titled the Death with Dignity Act, in which Oregon decided that the state's duty to preserve life is outweighed by the individual's right to control the time and manner of one's death. Vermont followed in Oregon's footsteps in 2008. In 2013, Washington became the third and final state so far to legalize assisted suicide. Outside of the United States, it is also legal in Switzerland, Belgium, and the Netherlands. It is quickly becoming a political issue worldwide, and with about 66% of Americans in favor of it, it is likely to become the next hot-button topic. When asked about assisted suicide, the average American would probably think of Jack Kevorkian. Kevorkian was a pathologist from Michigan who became very curious about dying and the moment of death. He eventually created the Thanatron and Mercitron, two self-made contraptions, to assist terminal patients in dying. They both allowed the patient to administer the treatment himself, although assisted suicide was not legal where Kevorkian was doing this. He was eventually imprisoned for committing an act of euthanasia, but gained nationwide attention and is still popularly associated with this topic.
If you don't have liberty and self-determination, you got nothing. That's what this country's built on. And this is the ultimate self-determination, to determine when and how you're going to die when you're suffering.
And those who say that Jack Kevorkian, Dr. Death, is a fanatic?
Zealot. No, not a fanatic. Sure, you try to take a liberty away and I turn fanatic. That's what I'm fighting for me, Mike, me. This is a right I want when I'm 71, I'll be 71. You don't know what will happen when you get older. I may end up terribly suffering. I want some colleague to be free to come and help me when I say the time has come. That's why I'm fighting, for me. Now that sounds selfish, and if it helps everybody else, so be it.
On the other hand, Brittany Maynard was a young woman from California who decided to end her own life. She was diagnosed with a terminal brain cancer that would lead to a horrible death. After discovering this, her family moved to Oregon to take advantage of their Death with Dignity Act. Her journey has become a topic of conversation and controversy around the world.
I can't even tell you the amount of relief that it provides me to know that I don't have to die the way that it's been described to me that my brain tumor would take me on its own.
Death with Dignity allows for people who are in the predicament of facing a lot of suffering that they can decide when enough is enough.
There are pros and cons of assisted suicide that should be taken into consideration when attempting to form an opinion. A supporter of assisted suicide believes in the freedom of choice. If one can choose what to say, where, and believe, one should be able to choose a better death. There is also an obligation to help others who are suffering. If a terminally ill patient is miserable, in pain, and only awaiting a gruesome death, it seems fair to help this person achieve the inevitable. On the other hand, people against assisted suicide choose to respect life and all that comes with it. Doing harm to a patient seems like the opposite of what physicians are meant to do. Doctors are meant to heal and save lives, not shorten and end lives. There is also palliative care, which can be used to make the dying feel more comfortable and at ease. Some see assisted suicide as a slippery slope, while others see it as the freedom of choice. Regardless of your stance, it is important to make an educated decision, seeing as this will most likely remain a highly debated issue both here and around the world.